Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and before I get into talking about this Gibson PR apology letter thing, I just want to put it out there that this videos from all the other channels, videos from news outlets, articles from news outlets, anything you see having to do with this is your fault. You are the one making us do this. You are the clicker. You're the person who clicked. You're the reason why every time Gibson just does the tiniest little fart into the wind, we all have to rush to our cameras and do stuff because these clicks pay our bills. It puts food on our tables. It puts diapers on our babies. It puts roofs over our families' heads. You're doing this to us. You're doing this to me. I'm pissed at you right now that I have to do this. This is my job. You make me do this with your clicks. How dare you? So anyways, let's get into it. I'm going to read this whole article they came out with. Gibson pivots from confrontation to collaboration, says the public relations agency. I'm going to read through this thing and I'll stop and talk about things that are interesting, and I'll just speed through this stuff I think is boring, which is most of it. I think most of this is boring. Here we go. In the process of rebuilding over the past 8 months, Gibson has made significant progress and now takes on the challenge of balancing brand protection with music industry collaboration. Nashville, Tennessee, Monday, July 1st, 2019. Since emerging from bankruptcy less than a year ago, Gibson has made significant progress in the key areas that matter most to guitarists around the world. With a clear focus on quality, a new collection of original and modern guitars, and more confident dealer and artist base. The new team at Gibson has proven that they can listen to the market and create new solutions, but there is still more work to be done, and the new team at Gibson remain on the mission. While new management is building on the legacy, quality, and craftsmanship that guitarists have come to love and expect from Gibson, they will also continue to manage and attempt to resolve the conflicts of the past. The conflicts of the past. They want to resolve the conflicts of the past. Apart from inheriting an iconic brand, the team have also inherited a host of challenges that they realize would take time to achieve proper resolution. A clear challenge has been in the area of brand protection, where a legacy of legal issues exists both with legitimate companies in the industry infringing on iconic trademarks and with illegitimate entities attempting to counterfeit, knock off, and pretend to be Gibson in the market. You know what? That is like, they're making their own distinction here, which is like the huge deal. Gibson's customers, people who want to be Gibson's customers, people who don't want to be Gibson's customers but want Gibson to do good in the industry, are completely fine with them taking down actual counterfeiters. Like companies, whether they be in China, Indonesia, in the States, that are making guitars that say Gibson on the headstock and are meant to be passed off as Gibsons to fool consumers. You're going to find very, very few people who defend that. I've never met any people who defend that. Everyone is fine with Gibson going after those companies. When they go after companies that have been making designs for 40 years, trying to go after them seeking damages for decades worth of Explorer and V shapes and variations on Gibson shapes, when Gibson has already lost in court multiple times to various companies suing over things like single cut guitar shapes. It's mind-blowing to people like me. All right, on to the next part. Over the past 8 months, the team has successfully dealt with over 4,500 counterfeit and knockoff guitars coming from overseas that were clearly designed to confuse the consumer into thinking they were buying a real Gibson. Great! Perfect. That's what we want. That is what we want. Take down the fakes, the actual fakes. That's fine. Do that thing. Tell us about it when you do that thing. Make videos about that. Make videos about the companies that you took down. Tell us how you did it so that other companies can do the same things with companies that are doing legitimate counterfeits of their stuff too. Make it accessible to everyone to know how to spot this stuff, how to take it down. Like drag out your boy Mark. Get Mark in a video and have him compare the real deal in one hand to a fake $200 Chinese knockoff. You open it up and it's just full of wood chips and bad soldering and the neck is crooked and things like that. Make that video. That would be supremely entertaining from you. People would love the pants off of it. Make that content, Gibson. Where did I leave off? Since November 2018, there have been dozens of counterfeit website takedowns, also designed to confuse the guitarists into thinking they were entering a legitimate official website. On a weekly basis, Gibson receives multiple queries. Multiple. How many is multiple? A multitude would sound like a lot. Multiple is like 3. And concerns from guitarists misled into purchasing what they thought was a genuine Gibson that turned out to be a counterfeit. Unfortunately, this is a very real dynamic that brands like Gibson and other iconic brands need to deal with on a regular basis. The main area of brand protection on these types of issues is with trademark ownership, understanding, and assertion. Hence our recent attempts to communicate our position, which was predominantly focused on these rogue overseas players in the market. No, it was not. You think your video that you had to take down, your authentic video, was predominantly about Chinese fakes, and then days later, like news hits about the Dean lawsuit stuff? If you're gonna say what you're talking about, say it. If you're making a video about Chinese knockoffs, make a video about Chinese knockoffs. You have a long history, Gibson, of going after boutique builders. And when you said in the video, Mark, that we're not doing this to squash boutique builders, everyone just belly groaned. Because you have a long history of doing that, and you're going to continue doing that. We know you're going to continue doing that. Prove to us that you're not going after boutique builders. I dare you. If left unchecked, these situations can lead to continued consumer confusion and can ultimately affect the integrity of an entire industry. Yes, absolutely. Take down, I don't want to say it anymore. Take down the Chinese counterfeiters, the import counterfeiters, the domestic counterfeiters. People don't want counterfeits. They want, well, Slash wants a counterfeit, but people want the real thing when they buy a Gibson. The reason people got so upset about this, the people care so much, the reason people are clicking on this video and every other piece of content about Gibson is because they legitimately care about Gibson, and a lot of people want Gibsons. They want to be able to afford a Gibson. They want to be able to buy a Gibson that's got quality control that matches its price point. How about that? How about that statement right there? But they also do want to be sure that they're buying a real Gibson when they buy a Gibson. They don't want to be fooled. No one wants to buy a counterfeit. Except for Slash, your branded ambassador. Recently, there has been a wide spectrum of both support and criticism with the approach that has been taken by Gibson in the market regarding brand protection. While there are clear lessons to be learned around the tone and legal explanations, the past few weeks have provided a real-time opportunity for Gibson to start making the pivot from less legal leverage to more industry collaboration with appropriate levels of awareness. This feels like a really awkward, like meeting, like a quiet boardroom meeting where someone gently explains what went wrong, but no one feels like they're in trouble. Appropriate levels of awareness, guys. We've really been learning in real time with this thing, haven't we? You done goofed, Gibson. You goofed hard. You crushed all the goodwill you had from the past year of acting like you were going to be a new Gibson. You crushed it. You goofed. With regards to other guitar brands and companies in the marketplace, Gibson has filed specific lawsuits over the past several decades, with the intention of protecting its original trademarks, rights, and to avoid consumer confusion in the market. All the recent attention on the few lawsuits in process stem from several years of legal action initiated well before the new leadership arrived in November of 2018. It's not our fault, guys. We're the new guys. We're the new management. We didn't start this legal stuff. Yeah, but you did make a video 2 weeks ago threatening to sue people. That's the new team doing that. Don't act like this is the old team. The new team is on board for this. With specific regards to the inherited and ongoing legal dynamic with Dean guitars, the new Gibson team have made several attempts to communicate with them directly to avoid a prolonged legal battle. Gibson has genuine intentions of constructive resolution that could be beneficial to both sides. I mean, I said in the podcast, Gibson should just buy Dean. If you can't beat him, join him. Buy Dean. Or make your own Dean style stuff. Compete price to price. How about that? How about you make a guitar better than Dean and sell it cheaper than Dean? You wouldn't have to go to court at all. People would eat that up. This recent situation has led the team to reevaluate their approach going forward with the intention of finding more constructive solutions to managing brand protection in the industry. Over the past few weeks, Gibson has made significant progress in reducing counterfeit attacks, in quotes, attacks. And they have entered into creative collaboration agreements with key boutique guitar makers and other related industry parties, a clear indication of their intentions going forward. We'll tell you if that's a clear indication of anything when we know what the heck you're talking about. What collaborations are you doing? What do you mean by collaborations? Are you talking about licensing? Are you going to be strong-arming brands, builders, into licensing single cut shapes if they want to make something, anything that has a single cut and 4 knobs and a switch on it? Are you going to force people to purchase a license if they make anything with an Explorer or a V-shape, shapes that are ubiquitous for electric guitars? You can tell a Gibson Flying V or Explorer when you see it. There's no brand confusion in between a Dean Explorer shape and a Gibson Explorer. Like, I could tell across a football field which one's a Dean and which one is a Gibson. Most consumers could. I have never met anyone in my life who's been like, I accidentally bought a Dean. I thought I was buying a Gibson. That never ever happens. Same goes for a multitude of small builders, boutique builders, even builders that aren't small. I've never looked at a Reverend, what is it called? The Volcano or the Vertigo or something like that, which is their V shape, and be like, oh, there's a Gibson. I've never had brand confusion for that. You guys are being ridiculous. So this whole collaboration thing, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see, Gibson. You've hurt us before. Are you going to hurt us again? You know, Gibson, hire me. Pay me to do consultation for you. Show me your videos before you publish them. Show me your press releases before you publish them. Show me everything you're going to put out into the public before you publish it, and I'll let you know if it's going to land or not. I feel like I've got a pretty decent beat on these things. And I'm not just some random like Gibson hater. I own a Gibson. I've owned other Gibsons. I like Gibson. I'd love to own more Gibsons. I want Gibson to be a good company. I want Gibson to be a company everyone can be proud to invest in when they purchase a Gibson. I want them to make guitars that people want at prices that make sense for the build quality. I am totally fine with Gibson making $3,000, $4,000 guitars if they are delivering a $3,000, $4,000 build quality experience. I'm fine with them taking down counterfeiters, legit counterfeiters, people putting Gibson on their headstocks, trying to pass them off as Gibsons. Take those people down. The vast majority of consumers want you to take those people down, and they want you to tell us about it. I know I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but I mean, this is clear-cut stuff. It is not hard to figure out. Gibson needs to get their heads out of their Gibson holes and find some people to tell them, who can tell them from the outside when stuff is going to land or not, because they clearly can't figure it out for themselves. All right, I still hate you all for making me do this with your incessant clicks that I need so badly. Thank you for your clicks. Thank you for paying my bills and putting diapers on my baby. Stay tuned until the next time Gibson does something, because you will watch anything about Gibson or that says Gibson. And for that, I thank Gibson. Thank you, Gibson, for providing for us and taking care of us with, all this content and all this controversy that you generously provide. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude and nasty comments. I know it's just going to be just a comment fest down there with everyone's opinions. Great. Cool. I love it. Analytics. Let's get as many comments going as possible. Fight it out. Fight it out. Bye, everybody. Stay grounded.